There is a number, a new figure that has replaced all others. It is not the $38 trillion national debt. It is not the federal budget. It is the $10 trillion combined market value of the 6 companies that now define our reality. The Magnificent Six: Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, Apple, and their new god, NVIDIA. Just 2 years ago, in 2023, we were told a new age was beginning. The generative age. We were promised a utopia of code, an intelligence that would cure cancer, end poverty, and eliminate the stain of human labor. We were promised magic. Today, in late 2025, every corporation, every insurance firm, every coffee shop, every failing media company is required to have an AI strategy. They are pouring billions, hundreds of billions into this new faith. The stock market, detached from the reality of a strained and indebted consumer, has become a single monolithic bet on this one idea. NVIDIA, a company that once made video game cards, is now the most valuable corporation on Earth, its stock trading at over 100 times its earnings, a number that defies gravity, logic, and history. But here is the paradox. If AI is everywhere, where is the prosperity? If this new intelligence is so revolutionary, why is global GDP growth stagnant? Why is productivity, the one thing this was all supposed to fix, flat? We have been promised a new world, but we have been given supercharged chatbots. We have been promised a revolution, but we have been given a $10 trillion mirage. This is not a story about technology. This is a story about money, power, and the architecture of the greatest speculative bubble in human history. It is a story about a machine we have seen before. To understand the machine, you must ignore the wide-eyed founders and the breathless headlines. You must go back to 1999. Then, the machine had a different name. It was called the New Economy. The illusion was the Internet. The promise was that eyeballs had replaced earnings, that B2C, business to consumer, would change the human condition. It was a beautiful lie. Companies with no product, no profit, and no plan were valued in the billions. We were told that fundamentals no longer mattered. That this time, it was different. The monument to that delusion was a company called Pets.com, a company that sold dog food online at a loss and was, for a brief, shining moment, worth more than the steel companies that built the country. When the machine broke in March of 2000, it was not a correction. It was a confession that belief alone cannot power an economy. But here is the secret that the history books get wrong. The idea of 1999 was not wrong. It was right. The Internet did change the world. The delusion was not the what. It was the when. The bubble was not in the idea. It was in the valuation. And in 2000, there was one company that stood in the wreckage: Cisco Systems. Cisco built the picks and shovels. It built the routers, the switches, the plumbing of the Internet. Cisco was a real company, making real profits. But in the hysteria, its stock was bid up to a price that was pure fantasy. It took over 20 years for its stock price to recover from its 2000 peak. The idea was right. The price was the lie. Now, fast forward to today. The machine has a new name. It's called Generative AI. And the new picks and shovels company, the new Cisco, is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a real company. It makes a real product, the H100, B100, and X100 GPUs that are the only tools capable of building this new world. But its $4.5 trillion valuation, its PE ratio of 110, is not a valuation. It is a mirage. It is the price of a monopoly on a dream. We are living in 1999 all over again. The second illusion is that AI is intelligence, that it thinks, that it is magic. It is not. This is not intelligence. It is brute force. It is the sound of 1 million server farms screaming in the deserts of Arizona and the plains of Iowa, demanding more power than entire nations, all to guess the next word in a sentence. This intelligence is not born, it is manufactured, and the cost of manufacturing is the dirty secret of this bubble. The system is built in 3 layers. Layer 1. The God layer, the silicon. This layer is not a market. It is a monopoly. It is NVIDIA. The company controls an estimated 95% of the market for AI chips. It does not sell chips. It allocates them, like a king distributing land. Every dollar of AI investment from Microsoft, Google, or Meta is, in reality, a tax paid directly to NVIDIA. The AI revolution is, for now, a $100 billion a year wealth transfer to one single company. Layer 2. The Titans, the cloud. This is the Magnificent Six Club. Microsoft, Azure, Google, Cloud, Amazon, AWS, and Meta. They are the only entities on Earth, besides the government of China, with the capital to play the game. The cost to train the new generation of models, GPT-5, Claude 4, Titan 2.0, is now estimated at over $10 billion per model. This is not a game for startups. Startups are not building AI, they are renting it. They are wraparound services, putting a new logo on an engine built by Microsoft or Google. They are the new pets.com, burning billions in venture capital to pay their rent to the Titans, who in turn pay their tax to the God layer, NVIDIA. Layer 3. The price, the power grid. This is the secret that breaks the machine. The AI revolution does not run on code. It runs on electricity. The data centers required to power this $10 trillion mirage are now consuming more electricity than all the homes in France and Germany combined. We are seeing, for the first time, utility companies in Virginia, in Texas, in Arizona, stating they cannot meet the demand. They are being forced to delay the closure of coal and natural gas plants. The clean, digital AI future is, in reality, being powered by 19th century fossil fuels. The price of this magic is a carbon footprint that rivals the global aviation industry. This is not a virtual revolution. It is a physical, industrial, and profoundly dirty one. So, who owns this bubble? If the $10 trillion is an illusion, who gets paid? In 1999, the bubble was democratic. Everyone, from taxi drivers to dentists, was a day trader. The illusion was spread across millions of citizens, all betting on worthless .com stocks. This is not 1999. This bubble is not a bubble of the people. It is a bubble of the titans. The shocking truth is that the market is a lie. In 2024, and again in 2025, over 90% of the S&P 500's gains came from just 6 companies. The stock market is no longer a diverse ecosystem. It is a dark, top-heavy, industrial machine. This is the real paradox. The applications of AI, the AI-powered CRM, the AI-powered insurance, are the bubble. They are the startups that will burn to zero. They are the pets.coms of 2026. The infrastructure, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, is not a bubble. It is a monopoly. The real story is that these companies are in a bubble of their own creation. They are spending tens of billions a year on NVIDIA chips to build an AI cloud, and the only customers big enough to buy that cloud computing power are other AI companies spending their venture capital. It is a closed loop. It is a circular machine, a snake eating its own tail. The system is funded by venture capitalists and the stock market, who are betting on a future of AI profits that have not arrived. It is a $10 trillion pyramid built on a single intangible thing: belief. Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we staking our entire economic future on this one monstrously expensive, power-hungry bet? The answer is the same as it was for the national debt. We are looking for a national blessing. This is not a tech story. It is an economic story. For 2 decades, since the real revolution of the 1990s, the PC and the Internet faded, the Western world has been trapped in the Great Stagnation. Productivity growth, the only true source of real wealth, has been flat. We are no more efficient at building houses, educating students, or caring for the sick than we were in 2005. The Internet did not save us. Mobile phones did not save us. Web3 was a pathetic, childish, speculative joke. Generative AI is the last card. It is the God we have been waiting for. It is the only story in town that promises a new engine of growth. We are not just building chatbots. We are building a new religion. We are forced to believe in this bubble. The Federal Reserve is forced to look the other way at NVIDIA's 110 PE ratio. The politicians are forced to hail it as the new industrial revolution, because the alternative is to admit that the engine has stalled. The $10 trillion mirage is the policy. It is the only policy. The goal is not to question the machine. The goal is to keep the machine running on pure, uncut, 1999-style faith. The system, like the $38 trillion debt, does not run on silicon. It runs on confidence. And what happens when that confidence wavers? The dot-com bubble did not burst because the Internet was a bad idea. It burst because a few companies, like Cisco, finally had to tell the truth in an earnings report. They had to admit that their customers, the worthless pets.coms, were going bankrupt and could no longer buy the picks and shovels. The idea was right. The cash flow was the lie. This is the future. This is what you must watch. The AI crash of 2026 or 2027 will not happen because GPT-5 fails. It will happen when Microsoft, Google, and Amazon release their quarterly earnings. The world will suddenly see the price of the machine in stark black and white. They will see hundreds of billions in capital expenditures for NVIDIA chips and power plants. And on the other side of the ledger, they will look for the profits, the new revenue from all the AI-powered applications. And the number will be hollow. The real economy will not have grown fast enough. The AI-powered CRM will not have delivered. The AI-powered coffee shop will still just be selling coffee. And in that moment, confidence will fade. The numbers will stop mattering. The $10 trillion valuation will be revealed as an illusion. The God layer, NVIDIA, will be exposed as the new Cisco, a very real, very profitable company, but one whose stock price was a fantasy that will take 2 decades to justify. The titans, Microsoft, Google, will survive. They will own the wreckage. But the startups, the disruptors, the wraparound applications, they will be a graveyard. They will be the monuments to our delusion. The secret of the AI bubble is not if it will burst, but when. The secret is that it isn't even a tech story. It's the oldest story we have. A hunt for a god, a belief in magic, and a desperate human gamble. And the real question is, when the belief fades, what is left of the machine?